What's up, YouTube? We got Marc's buggy here. We're gonna go ahead and adjust the shocks. We're gonna get the Fox tune on his shocks now. We did the driver's side front already, so we know what we're doing, so we're not wasting time on camera. And now we're gonna do the passenger side on film, so we can give you guys an idea of how to do it. We got the System 330s on his buggy, and we're not happy with the ride height. The current ride height is 14.5 in the front, which ain't bad in the front. We can live with that, but we adjusted a little bit more. We'll probably get a little bit more once we all said and done in the front, but the rear is terrible. The rear is 11.5 inches, and that is no good, especially having 30-inch tires on here already. So we're gonna do some adjustments. We're gonna jump into it right now, and we'll go ahead and get started. See you guys in a second. All right, here we go. What helps before we get started is go ahead and take some spray lubricant, spray all the threads and stuff, and then once you do that, spray them threads right there, and then go ahead and take your pry bar or screwdriver and do like George is doing, tap it in. Once you tap it loose, we already broke it loose, but you're gonna have to beat on it a couple times to get it loose. And once it's spreading, you want to go make sure you're going the right way, spread it, thread it out a little bit, boom, get it out of the way, and move on to the next step. We're going to measure it before we adjust anything. One of the things that you want to check is put the bottom of the tape measure right at the bottom of the shock where George got his hand at, and then go on up to the top, and right here where we're at right there, I'll see if I can get in here close for you. Right at the top of the shock, we're looking at about 20.75 of an inch. Okay. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and start our measurements here, or start our adjustments now. But before we do that, we got to get it off the ground. Go over to the handy dandy lift, jack her up, make sure everything's where you want it to be jacked up. All you gotta do is get the tires off the ground. Tire is off the ground. As you can see, you want to push down on it a little bit, get some of the tension off the spring itself. Tire's still off the ground. And now you want to remeasure. Go to the same spot and remeasure. You're looking at about 23.75 to the very top of the spring. Okay. Now you want to take it, grab the spring like George is doing right now, and you just want to keep twisting it. And you want to twist it counterclockwise. Make sure you're grabbing all the springs, twist it. Keep your forearm game strong. It'll slowly go, but it'll go. Now you want to remeasure. Same thing, bottom of the spring to the top. You're looking at just over 23 and we'll call it 5/16. What measurement we want on this, George?
23.25.
So you want 23.25. So you probably do a couple more turn downs to get it down there. Same thing. Bottom of the spring to the top. You're looking at about
23.25.
Yeah, I would say that's perfect. 23.25. Now, what you want to do next is tighten your jam nut. Go ahead and spin that back all the way down. Takes a little bit of time, especially if you got some mud in there. You might have to spray a lot more stuff, but we already did all that, so we're good to go. And once you start getting as far down hand tight as you can take it, you'll feel it stop, and once you stop, you can't move it. Grab your handy dandy pry bar and hammer. Go ahead and lock it in. All right, that's all locked in now. All right, now we're gonna move on to the next phase. All right, next step, we need to go ahead and bring the tape measure to the top of the spring, and the tape measure needs to be right at, what was it, 4.5, George? On the bottom of this guy right here, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Right now we're looking at, we got a little glare. Right now we're looking at about 5.25. So we got to move it up about 3/4 of an inch, and we'll show you how to do that next. So you want to take and you want to spin. You want to spin the little black thing. You got to break them loose. There are 2 of them. Go one way, go the other, whatever way's easiest for you to get. So now that you got it broke loose, you're going to start working its way up. Last check. I say that's dead nuts, 4.5. 4.5.
4.25. 1.5.
Is that what you got?
4.5. Well, we're a little high. 4.5 is actually down here.
Okay, so we're about 4 3/8. So we take it back down a little bit. That's good. Walk it back down. That's about good right there. And to lock it in, you just go one way. Yeah, let's go 4.5. Pretty dead nuts. Now get them to meet pretty good. Snug them up as much as you can with your hand so you're not beating on it all day. And go ahead and tighten it up. Wrong way, George. All right, now that's tightened up. We got it good now. Double check the measurements, make sure it did not move. I think we are perfect. Perfect at 4.5. Now we're going to move on to the next step. Go ahead and keep. All right, next step, we're going to go ahead and lower it down. Keep letting it, make sure it's lowered all the way down. I'm going to leave a little bit of clearance because I'm going to bounce on this and push it forward and back for a few. George, you got to settle the suspension. Roll it forward. Roll it back, roll it forward, bounce on it again, rock it side to side. Roll back. All right, now let's see what we got. Ground clearance originally was in the front, 14.5. We got it measured from the same spot where we can keep a consistent measurement. I know it's kind of hard to see without the handy dandy flashlight. We're looking at 14.5 from the front was factory. Not factory, but before we got really rolling. Straighten it up a little bit, George. We're about 15.5 now. So we're getting some pretty good ground clearance. Now I might scrub out a little more, settle a little more. That's normal, but we're definitely better than what we were. And we're gonna go ahead and show you. George just chimed in and said for the Fox tune, we should be at 15.5. Turtles in the house. I said the turtles in the house. I said the turtles in the house. I said the turtles in the house.